the universe said, you're going to do a collaborative retreat with Susan.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
There you go. I'm like, so that's
And here's Susan in.
and here she is. This is happening for real.
To say, hi, I'm home. Like, we are home. And it is the home that like we often say in Koya, the essence of who you are is wise, wild, and free. So it's that invitation of awakening, truly plugging into that, and moving in a way that we know, but like the kind that like right now even just brings tears to my eyes.
Yes.
Like it's like that, like I know this beyond the lies, beyond the disruptions, beyond the you have to do it this way or else you'll starve to death, or else, like how many ever lies we've been told. So those are the pieces that I just know we're bringing people home.
Bringing people home. This space was created by someone who was on a similar journey to what we've been speaking on. And literally from the foundation up, the space was created with intention in the rainforest outside of San Juan. And every aspect of this space calls you to this idea of what if it's called alterna vida, which is alternative life. You know, it's a different path. And on the website, the first thing you see is House of Transformation. So they don't just clean the rooms, they energetically clean the rooms. You know, there's a lot of different levels. Like you're not just getting, you know, food from a fabulous chef, you're getting food from a chef who's drawing from what's growing on the property, with a consciousness of like, we're not bringing in, you know, all the gluten and the dairy and everything else. So, which is very popular in Puerto Rico. So just when we say local cuisine, that doesn't necessarily mean it's in that path, but she is cultivating that for this space. Yeah. When we are embodying this practice of experiences, what will evolve is that we'll have time that's in a space like this, like a yoga studio room. It's gorgeous, open air. It's got a rooftop overlooking the rainforest, where we will be, you know, in different kinds of experiences. The invitation of what it would look like to start diving into this, but then taking it outside of that box, that structure, into experiences directly, because this is an important piece when we talk about embodiment, and we talk about that's happening in connection and relationship, in relationship to your experience, in relationship to the other people that are there, to Susan and I, and to the space surrounding the retreat, and to nature, and everything that infinitely connects to that. So having experiences where we are in the rainforest and literally brought to a place in the rainforest that kind of channels what we're diving into, brought to the ocean in such a way.
Well, what I like about that is that most of us are not walking around in the rainforest daily.
Right.
You know, so it will heighten our awareness in being inside a rainforest, where you're feeling a little unfamiliar, and being unfamiliar, and at the same time detoxing some things, at the same time being willing, then it opens up that perfect environment to say, what better time than to move towards my freedom than right now? It's where I know this is my truth. Where's that rainforest inside of me? Where is that part? Where does that, and again, in Koya, in prayer, we say, where do you find prayer inside of you before anybody taught you? And it's the same thing with, where do you find the rainforest inside of you? Where do you find that willingness inside of you to say, it's time now to move beyond the story that somebody else gave me.
Yes.
And I feel like the land wants to support us.
Yes.
Wants to say, come here, let me hold you.
Let me hold you. Let me show you how I'm doing that.
Yeah.
So that's part of the invitation as well, to have this deep dive experience. It's not just about the container, which is going to be fabulous, but it's about, okay, that next level of bringing this to my moment to moment life. And what does that look like for me? How can I apply this fully living in the truth of who I am by my own inner compass, moment to moment to moment, in my own home, in my work, in
my own body,
in my own body, at Whole Foods.
Yeah.
Is it the grocery store where you like to do your best dancing.
fresh time.
Fresh time.
Yeah. And I want to say with that, knowing that there's like this backup team, Lindsay Jones. Yeah, there's this
Behind the scenes.
backup part that is not seen but felt. And it's never just a one thing. It's always layered when we're allowing ourselves to join into what's available for freedom for ourselves. It's that other piece that you can, back into and go, oh, there's the cushion. It's already there.
Yeah.
That is
that we're
also, it's also,
you're not alone. That like when we use the word practice, it is a very terse, solid word. It has a lot of form to it. But this practice is beyond a practice. It's a practice, but it's beyond the practice. It's a form beyond a form. And what happens is, as you're holding the intention, if the intention itself is a practice
and
to be
attention
and intention, to be fully present in your truth, aligned to your inner compass, however you want to say it, how that shows up for you as like, well, what does that mean for me now? Will look different in each moment. So it's just the practice becomes tuning into that and then taking your action from that place.
Yes.
Allowing it all to flow out from that place.
In the, speaking of practices in the Kriya, it's that information, balance, action, surrender that we do. So in gathering information, new information and old information, how do you want to balance that moving forward? And what's the action? And then surrender. And we've all had not enough information, forget the balance, let's just go straight to action. We've all, if you've not been in a relationship, even with yourself, everybody has done that. Whether it's going to eat the whole bag of cookies, but that wasn't my first intention, but they're there. Or I'm going to snatch that child up and say, what were you thinking, before we have all the information? And we've had all that happen to us too. So in that, there's some bits of that beautiful Kriya Yoga that I believe will fold into this workshop.
Yes.
What is your own information and what does it mean? What is your relationship with balance? And it's a very personal question, because I might think of what is balance much differently than somebody else.
Right.
I might see it as peace and clarity, and somebody else might see it as, wow, I'm walking on a tightrope and this is the most exhilarating thing, like their balance. Like everybody, it's personal, it's unique. And to bring that balance into allowing the balance to direct the action suggests that there's a moment of stillness. And then it is so, I find it so easy and natural to surrender it at that point.
Rediscovering your inner compass. And those words came about because I can just literally feel like the moment to moment adjustments that I feel I'm being called to and practicing. What does that look like if I really discover and connect into my inner compass? Because so much of our experience, like you said, has been guided by, I'm doing this because I'm literally like being, this is where you look, this is what you read, this is what you do, this is how you move, this is how you don't move, this is what you say, this is what you don't. There's so much of that structure. And another piece of that I feel like is important, because if I'm going to be this inner compass, I can't be like that. I have to be like that. And so the practice of getting there, you're right. I mean, it's inside, outside, outside, inside. When you're deeply with intention opening to this, that will be part of what we explore. Trees, and how a bud opens. There is a gentle expansion in it, but there's an intensity, there's a force, And probably even on the inside, there's like fibers that have to kind of like snap
Support. Mhm.
and support. There's both sides as it starts to open and open and open and open. This to say that I feel like part of why I'm being called to collaborate with you and create this retreat is because we really are being nudged to take this to
Yes.
this level. Like
Yeah.
we're being
Yes.
called to some really, really
Yes.
deep level work. But there are those of us that are being called to be like, no, I really need to see that.
Yeah.
As painful
Yeah.
as it is, I need
Yeah.
to see this story and I need to see my reality and all the deeper layers that are trying
Yeah.
to come to life.
Yeah.
And allow that to continue to bloom and grow.
Yes.
And be able, and as that happens, it's just like, again, the bud, it's like whatever parts that are no longer needed for that growing thing just kind of fall away.
And even the parts of the roots that are no longer needed, like some parts of the roots die off. And I'm, that vital center, that second chakra that creates all things. And how do you move from forgiveness to freedom? Because that's where it is for me. I don't want these things to hold me back because the collective says it shouldn't have happened. Well, it fucking did.
Right.
And I'm over it. And I'm not going to carry it. I don't want the pieces of it. I want to see myself inside myself in the wholeness.
Right. Like we have this infinite portal of creative energy.
Yeah.
That supports us in tapping into the depths of our wisdom and beyond.
And when we're moving towards freedom and liberation, we can't hold that story because that will not, that stays stuck in that rising through it at a place like the workshop with the people who are going to say yeah. Because I believe it's that moment where you're getting tossed in the ocean and you've got enough people around you to say, we've got you. And there isn't anything to fix. And we still have you. There's nothing to fix because it's all already moving towards your freedom if that's what you're moving towards.
Yeah.